Hello and welcome. It's 9 a.m. India time or 3:30 GMT and it's 15 past 9 in Kathmandu where the 4th BIMSTEC summit will start today. Now, BIMSTEC is an acronym for Bay of Bengal Multi-Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. Now, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived in Kathmandu early this morning to attend the BIMSTEC summit. The two-day summit will focus on trade, connectivity and counter-terrorism. Now, BIMSTEC comprises 7 members: Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Myanmar and Thailand. Now, BIMSTEC is home to around 1.6 billion people, which constitutes about 23% of the total world population. BIMSTEC accounts for a $3 trillion economy, which is about 4% of the global GDP and 3.7% of the global trade as well. 5 of the 7 BIMSTEC members are located in South Asia and the remaining 2, Myanmar and Thailand, in Southeast Asia. Now, India and the 4 other South Asian countries in BIMSTEC are also members of SAARC, whereas Myanmar and Thailand are members of the ASEAN. Now, 6 BIMSTEC members are also part of SASEC, or South Asia Sub-Regional Economic Cooperation. Now, except Nepal and Bhutan, all BIMSTEC members border the Bay of Bengal. Now, the media in Nepal is extensively reporting on the BIMSTEC summit. Let's take a look at what the newspapers there have to say about the summit. Beyond Siddhant Sibal has more.
Welcome to this special edition from Nepal on BIMSTEC summit. Let's take a review of the newspapers, what they are talking, and almost every Nepali newspaper is talking about this big BIMSTEC summit, the 4th BIMSTEC summit which is taking place in Nepal's capital Kathmandu. The Himalayan, of course, has its headline, the 4th BIMSTEC summit commences in the capital today, and talks about how the summit focuses on towards peaceful, prosperous and sustainable Bay of Bengal region. Remember, the BIMSTEC country, there are 7 countries who are part of BIMSTEC, and leaders have arrived in the city for the summit, which is to start at around 3 p.m. when the first plenary will take place. Republica is another newspaper, and it has a picture of Myanmar's president and his wife at Lumbini, which is the birthplace of Buddha, and they say pictures speak 1,000 words, so this picture is speaking, of course, a lot of things, but it has details also that how the BIMSTEC summit begins today, and it will start at 3 p.m. as I was saying earlier. The summit starts at 3 p.m. But before that, there will be a call on by the leaders to the president at around noon time, and then there will be a luncheon. Let's take a look at other newspaper. The Rising Nepal has a picture of Myanmar's president calling on the president of Nepal, and as always the headline on the previous things also, because yesterday the foreign ministers meet happened in which India was represented by General V.K. Singh, who was here and is here right now, even as we speak. He also went to Pashupatinath temple. And let's talk about local newspapers, what they are talking, and this is Kantipur. As always, all the newspapers are headlining about the BIMSTEC summit and the nitty-gritties what will be discussed. And if I can show you the local newspaper, they're focusing on the key outcomes. It has a picture of the foreign minister of all the BIMSTEC countries who took part yesterday. Remember, these foreign ministers they drafted the Kathmandu declaration that will be vetted by the leaders today and tomorrow, and on Friday it will be adopted. There are a host of activities taking place here in Nepal's capital as the leaders arrive for the summit, and key focus will be on connectivity, trade and counter-terror. With video journalist Neeraj Patel, Siddhant Sibal from Kathmandu, Nepal.
So we are on Siddhant Sibal reviewing the newspapers published from Kathmandu this morning, and we'll be joined by Siddhant in a bit from Kathmandu. But just to bring our viewers up to speed with the latest news coming in from Kathmandu as we speak, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reached Kathmandu. These are visuals of his arrival at the Kathmandu airport in Nepal early this morning. Remember, this is only the 4th BIMSTEC summit to be held by the 7 member countries, including 5 from South Asia and 2 from Southeast Asia, including Myanmar and Thailand. Prime Minister Modi and other heads of state and government will be representing their countries at the 4th BIMSTEC summit to be held in Kathmandu later today. As Siddhant was pointing out, connectivity, security cooperation, trade, energy and counter-terrorism are expected to be high on the agenda of the 4th BIMSTEC summit. Remember, the BIMSTEC, or the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral, Technical and Economic Cooperation, was founded in the late 1990s. But it's only recently that BIMSTEC has got a new lease of life, partly because of Pakistan's perceived intransigence on the issue of counter-terrorism. And that has seen SAARC become moribund at the expense of BIMSTEC, which has, as I mentioned before, got a new lease of life. And Prime Minister Modi will be seeking to energize BIMSTEC cooperation, security and counter-terrorism in his interventions today and tomorrow at the 4th BIMSTEC summit to begin in Kathmandu. Right, so as I mentioned, my colleague Siddhant Sibal will be joining us live from Kathmandu in a bit. Today will be the opening day of the 2-day BIMSTEC summit, the 4th to be held since its inception in the late 1990s. BIMSTEC comprises Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, India, Sri Lanka, Myanmar and Thailand. Right, so you're watching the continuous coverage here on Beyond of the 4th BIMSTEC summit to begin in Kathmandu later today. And these are the latest visuals coming to you from Kathmandu, where India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived and he's been given a ceremonial guard of honor upon his arrival in Kathmandu. Now, Beyond, Siddhant Sibal spoke to the spokesperson of Nepal's foreign ministry about the agenda for this BIMSTEC summit. Listen in. Or I'm told Siddhant is live with us from Kathmandu. Siddhant, Prime Minister Modi has arrived in Kathmandu for the 4th BIMSTEC summit. What might be on his agenda? What is India hoping to achieve from this summit?
Well, India is hoping to achieve a lot of things. The Prime Minister arrived just a short while ago. He was given a guard of honor at the airport and he will be arriving at the location where I am standing right now, where the summit will take place. And the summit will begin at around 3 p.m. And there are two important bilaterals also scheduled. One, of course, with the Sri Lankan President and another with the Bangladeshi Prime Minister. The first meeting between India and the counterpart, the Bangladeshi Prime Minister, after the draft NRC was released in the eastern Indian state of Assam. But talking about BIMSTEC summit, India hopes that BIMSTEC becomes a connecting link between South Asia and East Asia. Remember, 5 of the BIMSTEC countries are SAARC countries and 2 are ASEAN countries. BIMSTEC can be the building block of Indo-Pacific, and it connects the Indian Ocean with the Pacific Ocean. Other than that, on the agenda will be connectivity, counter-terror and trade. On connectivity, the BIMSTEC foreign ministers have agreed on a $50 billion infrastructure project. It has been approved by the ADB, and India, of course, has its own connectivity plans such as the Kaladan multimodal project and the trilateral highway from India, Thailand and Myanmar. When it comes to terror, we know that it's a dominating agenda when it comes to global debate right now. And yesterday, when I spoke to the spokesperson of Nepal's foreign minister, he confirmed not only terror will be discussed, a strong statement is expected. Remember, in the mini summit in Goa in 2016, the BIMSTEC states strongly condemned terror and state sponsorship of terrorism. And finally, on economics, it's the BIMSTEC FTA that has been a major issue, because negotiations haven't really been very fast on that. Last week only there was a meet of BIMSTEC envoys in New Delhi. in which all the BIMSTEC envoys called for early negotiation of the entire BIMSTEC FTA. But other than that, the charter will also be discussed. It's an old organization, 21-year-old organization, but hasn't been much visible when it comes to global debate or global affairs, and that is why this BIMSTEC summit is important and a priority for India, especially because before the BIMSTEC summit was to start, India had a briefing in which India said it's a natural choice to showcase India's priorities, foreign affairs priorities, which is the neighborhood first and act east, and especially when SAARC we have seen hasn't been a priority. It won't be a priority, it seems, from India's side, because Pakistan continues to aid and abet terror, and that has been the issue. Sources spoke to WION in which India reiterated that talks and terror can't go together, and Pakistan, the ball is in Pakistan's court that it needs to change its behavior and a deal in constructive pursuit. Only then SAARC can happen. Well, BIMSTEC can be SAARC -1, it seems, and that is why for India BIMSTEC is high on priority, and that is why this visit of the Indian Prime Minister, the second in 2018 and fourth since 2014, has been on top priority of India, and this summit is going to see that priority being uplifted in a much higher level.
Right. Siddhant, stay on if you will. As you mentioned, you spoke to the spokesperson of Nepal's foreign ministry to know about the agenda of the summit. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Well, the BIMSTEC summit is all set to begin, and focus will be on many things. Let's talk about what the people here in Nepal think about the BIMSTEC summit, and I believe a journalist can answer it very well. With me, Santosh. He's a journalist here in Nepal. Santosh, what do you think about BIMSTEC?
BIMSTEC, it's a regional organization, and it came into being in 1997. So, in fact, it's evolving, I would say, because many people still do not know about BIMSTEC like SAARC, because people have idea about SAARC, but people don't know about BIMSTEC. I think after this summit, people will come to know about it.
What do you think about BIMSTEC versus SAARC, which debate is going on?
Yeah.
Do you think that BIMSTEC can replace SAARC?
These are two separate organizations, but there are, of course, debate, because SAARC now looks like defunct. So it seems like there was a kind of debate for another regional organization, and that can benefit this entire region.
Another regional organization that, of course, can be BIMSTEC. But do you think BIMSTEC can become a bridge? Because 5 out of 7 countries in BIMSTEC are part of SAARC, and 2 are from ASEAN. So a link between South Asia and East Asia.
Yeah. Let me see from Nepal's perspective, because we are not in the Bay of Bengal region, right? So for this, but Nepal is looking in this way that through BIMSTEC region, I mean through Bay of Bengal, Nepal can get better access to the sea. That is our one perspective. And this BIMSTEC can be a good platform for that.
A good platform for that. My last question to you is, BIMSTEC, it seems, hasn't got much of visibility. 4 summits in just 21 years of its history. Do you think that this summit will bring that visibility?
Of course, that will, because already we held, BIMSTEC members held 3 summits. But there is not much of progress. So this summit may bring that visibility and way forward for enhancing cooperation in this region.
We were listening to my colleague Siddhant speaking to a local journalist in Kathmandu. That was not the spokesman of the Nepal Foreign Ministry. Apologies for that. We'll play out the correct version going forward. But Siddhant continues to be with us. Siddhant, one quick question before we wind up this conversation. The agreements likely to sign at the 4th BIMSTEC summit on the energy cooperation, for instance, what are the outcomes or takeaways from this summit?
Well, the main takeaways, of course, one is on energy, another is on connectivity. The motor vehicle and the coastal agreement is likely to be talked and maybe signed also in this summit, and that, of course, remains the focus. Connectivity, given the fact that China has huge presence in the region, and some of the BIMSTEC countries are even part of the One Belt, One Road initiative. That is why India wants to focus majorly on connectivity, and as I said, that the foreign ministers agreed on a $50 billion infrastructure project, and before the summit, which will begin today, was to begin. There were two important meetings, one on Tuesday and one on Wednesday. The first meeting was of senior officials meeting in which the Foreign Secretary participated, and then the Foreign Ministers meet took place on Wednesday, in which General V.K. Singh participated, and the focus was on connectivity. So that remains the key geopolitical currency. But other than that, this is Indian Prime Minister's second visit in 2018 and fourth since 2014, and he will be going to Pashupatinath Temple, where he will officially give the Nepal's Prime Minister the Dharamshala that has been built with the help of India at the cost of 20 crore rupees. It is a 400-bed Dharamshala which is just next to Pashupatinath Temple, and we know that every time the Indian Prime Minister visits Nepal, he visits this important temple. Last time he visited earlier this year, he visited three places, Muktinath, Janakpur and Kathmandu. It was kind of a pilgrimage at that time. This time, of course, the focus is on BIMSTEC to not only revive it, to get the BIMSTEC at a higher pedestal so that it can be a key link between South Asia and East Asia at a time when SAARC has lost its importance. And as my journalist friend said, that SAARC, it seems, is defunct.
Right, on that note, Siddhant Sibal in Kathmandu, thank you so much for that update. Appreciate it.